All right. Good morning, Casey. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you, Danielle. How are you?
I'm really good. So you stood out. We spoke, goodness, it's been a couple of years. I want to say it's been like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
The last time that we chatted. So you've had some changes since then. You're now looking for a new role here
Yes.
in Volusia County. So why don't you tell me a little bit about your work history, some of the last jobs that you've had and what you did?
Okay, so my previous employer was Sabunji Construction. I was their administrative assistant, ran the front desk, assisted the president, the vice president, the project managers, the superintendents out in the field, basically just all around assisting whatever was needed in the office. I handled the bid coordination, proposals, any documentation. I generated and handled the email for the president, um, any bid invitations that came in, researching any potential projects that might be bidding, also filing the bid. I assisted sometimes with permit applications as well. Of course, answering the phones. I handled their petty cash. Um, Assisting sometimes the accounting admin when audits were coming up, keeping track of any of the certificates of insurance, making sure we were up to date with any vendors that needed to bring and send in their updated certificates of insurance, workman's comp, things like that. Previously, actually, the past few years, I've been in the general contracting industry. I did work a few years back for Sonia Laney, CPA, running the front desk, interacting with the clients, reviewing the tax returns, um, going over any documents they need to send in. I handled her invoicing. I kind of took that over. She just tended to take a lot on, and I'm like, I can do that for you. So I started handling that, billing, collecting any outstanding balances, scheduling all of her appointments, email follow up. I did get her in the habit um, of letting me review her emails and just prioritizing because I mean, it's a tax company, so she was 24/7 working. Um, so previous to that, I've been in a marketing firm, and that was basically just running the data for the mailers that you get when they're trying to sell you a car. So basically, I would run the data for advertising agencies that would send those mailers out by demographic. Um, and that's pretty much it. I mean, primarily my background in office management, it was in New York. I did work here briefly in office management. Unfortunately, that company did go out of business. Um, and I entered as an admin, and they quickly saw that, I can handle a lot more than just the phones and
Sure.
basic documentation. So, and that's pretty much it. My background, like I said, is primarily in New York. I worked for Columbia University for 4 years in a nonprofit. I was at Madison Square Garden for 6 years. So I'm pretty much an all around type of admin. I just believe if you have the skills, you can go into any industry. If you're a strong admin, you're just going in, you're applying those skills, and you just have to learn the industry you're in. So I've been fortunate in that.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I think that you are a stellar candidate. I would be, thrilled to work with you, and I
Yeah.
feel like we can definitely make a good quality connection here in Volusia County, where you live. Now, you mentioned about being able to do a bunch of other things. So, two things I want to touch on. Tell me about your software skills. I think you had the was it AIA billing?
No, I know a variety. I mean, I'm familiar with obviously the Microsoft Office
Microsoft.
suite, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. I do minor QuickBooks Online. I was helping a guy out. I had to kind of teach myself to do the online payroll, tracking the time of his field workers. I do basic Salesforce, Act.
Oh,
Uh,
perfect.
yeah, social media, file cabinet, Thomson Reuters file cabinet and Thomson Reuters practice, Pantera, Procore.
Oh, Procore. Procore
Yeah.
it was that I was thinking.
Okay.
Now, what about, you mentioned, I don't know if it was here on this call because I had some notes written down, estimating and permitting.
I worked with estimators at some of the GC companies. I don't have that ability to sit there and just be an estimator, to be
Sure.
upfront, but I have assisted estimators. The previous company I was at, they were looking to hire an estimator and they wanted me to come back and be the assistant, but that kind of fell through. The deal fell through for some reason. So basically my background in bid coordination is whatever needs to get done. And they became very used to that. They weren't used to it, but I'm like, if you give it to me, tell me what you need, I can get it done. So I would help the estimators in terms of reaching out to subcontractors, getting bids, finding out what's the budget, what's the range you're looking for, and sometimes negotiating with the subs. So things like that. That's as extensive as my estimating gets. I don't want to mislead and say, oh, I can sit there and
Sure, no, I completely understand. All right. Well, I think I've got all the information that I need for this part of the interview, but don't go anywhere because we have a few other things to chat about.
Okay.